Hi guys, so we're going to look at a very interesting topic, which is introduction to calculus. So our interest will be paper 1 type of questions, then later in another video we'll look at paper 2 type of questions. So let's proceed with the first one. Differentiate y is equal to that with respect to x. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to write the equation that we've been given, that is y is equal to, so we have 1 over 3, so I'm going to write 1 over 3, so that is x to the power 3, then minus 5 x squared, then minus 2x. Then how do we differentiate now? So to differentiate, this is what we do. So I'll give you an example. So to differentiate something, let's say y is equal to ax to the power n. So basically what happens is that if you're trying to differentiate this, the power multiplies with the coefficient of the variable and the power reduces by 1. So this becomes dy over dx is equal to, so the n will multiply the a, then the power will reduce by 1. That is basically how you can differentiate. So now look at this one. To differentiate y with respect to x, so the notation that we use, there are two notations that we use. Instead of saying dy over dx, we can also say y prime. So y prime, so this means y prime, and the answer will be the same, n ax n minus 1. So whichever notation you're going to use, but let us go with dy over dx. So to find dy over dx, we're going to say this is equal to, now to get this one, so we differentiate this equation one by one. So we'll start with 1 over 3x to the power 3. So the 3 will multiply 1 over 3. Now check here. If 3 multiplies 1 over 3, the 3 and the 3 goes. So meaning we're only remaining with the 1. So 1 times x, it will still remain x. Then the power will reduce by 1, so it will be squared. Then from there, what are we going to do? We proceed to the other one. So this is, there's a 2 here. This 2 multiply negative 5. 2 times negative 5, we're going to have negative 10. Then the power reduced by 1, it will be 10x to the power 1, but we're not going to write the 1. Then here, we know that there is an imaginary 1 here. So this 1 multiply negative 2, and we only have negative 2. Then when this power reduces by 1, let me show you. So we have negative 2x. How do we differentiate that? So negative 2x, what we do basically is, or maybe I can just do it somewhere here so that we can see how that it comes. So we have negative 2. So we know to say the power is 1. So this 1 will multiply negative 2. It will be negative 2x. Then it will be the power 1 minus 1. So this will be negative 2x. What is 1 minus 1? That is a 0. Now we know that any number raised to the power 0, this 1. So negative 2 times 1 will just be negative 2. No wonder the differential equation will just be like that. So this is how you can differentiate that. I hope that one was clear. Let's look at another question. Okay, so we've been given another question now. This one is on integration. Integrate that with respect to x. Now, integration is different from differentiation. How do you integrate? So to integrate, it's easier. So this is what we're going to do. This is the symbol of integration. So you just use this symbol. Then you write what you've been given. So this is 3x to the power 4 minus 4x to the power negative 3. Then you cross, Now you now put dx because we are differentiating with respect to x. Then from here we proceed. We start integrating. Now integration is the opposite of differentiating. With differentiation the power was reducing by 1, but with integration the power will be increasing by 1. So look at 3x to the power 4 integrate as follows. It will be 3x to the power 4 plus 1. Now we are adding. Then instead of multiplying, then we divide by the same power, 4 plus 1. Then this will be minus. Then this will be 4x to the power negative 3 plus 1. Then we say over the same negative 3 plus 1. So that is what we have basically. Then we add a constant, so we're going to say plus c. Now when you're looking at this differentiation, I want you to look at two terms. That is number one we call definite integrals, and there is another one that we call indefinite integrals. So I want you to look upon those words and differentiate them. You should be able to understand definite and indefinite integration. So now how does this proceed now? This is going to proceed as follows. So we say this is equal to we have 3x, so that would be 3x, 4 plus 1 is a 5, then 4 plus 1 is a 5, like that. Then here we're going to say we have a minus, so say 4x, negative 3 plus 1, that is a negative 2. Then down again, negative 3 plus 1, we have a negative 2 down. Then we're adding a constant, which is c. So the c will keep on coming. Then from there now we proceed. We're going to say we have 3 over 5. So I'll say 3 over 5 x to the power 5. Then negative 2 will go in, so this negative will go into that negative, and this will be positive. Then 2 will go into 4. So 2 goes into 4 how many times? So 2 goes into 4 2 times. So we're going to have a 2 there. Then this x, since it is to the power negative 2, I'm going to bring it down. So I'm going to say over x squared. Now I think we're going back to what we call indices. Remember, an index, if you have, for instance, if you have x to the power negative 1, in order for you to have a positive index, introduce a 1 on top, then it becomes positive. So once you bring something down, so the x to the power negative 2 was on top, now it has come down, the power has become positive. Then we say plus c. So that's how you're supposed to be simplifying integrals. Always ensure that the powers are positive. Then you are good to go. And no calculator is allowed, because you can simply do these. So that's how you can do that. We're now going to proceed to looking at another question. We have question 3, and this is also on integration. Find the integral of that. How can you integrate that? So what we're going to do here is basically we're going to look at what we have. So what we have here, I can write it in this manner. So I'll say the integral of 3 over 2, then x to the power 3 minus 5x, then I'll say plus. Now since I want to integrate first, I'm going to ensure that the x goes back on top there, so that it becomes x to the power negative 2. So I've not yet started integrating, but this is how I'm going to write this one, so that it can work out properly. Okay, so they should both be in the same straight line, the x variables. So once that has been done, then we can start integrating now. you can start integrating. So I'm going to say we are integrating with respect to x. Okay, so once you start integrating, don't put the integral symbol. You only put it if you've not yet integrated. Now we are starting to integrate, we are not going to put it. So to integrate the first one, the 3 is going to multiply 3 over 2. So what is 3 times 3 over 2? What do you think we're going to get when we multiply the 3? Oh, sorry, here it's you just made a mistake. We're integrating and not differentiating. And like I said, with integration, we are dividing instead of multiplying. So we're going to have, so let me do it one by one. So the first one is 3 over 2 x to the power 3. So this is going to be 3 over 2 x to the power 3, then plus 1. Then we say everything over 3 plus 1. So you simplify this expression. So how are you going to simplify that expression? That is what we're going to do. So I'm going to say we have 3 over 2 x, the 3 plus 1 is a 4. Then we're going to say divide by, I'm going to use this division, divide by 4 over 1. Then this is going to be 3 over 2 x to the power 4. Then division will change to multiplication, the 1 will go on top, the 4 down. Then this will be 3 times that, that's a 3. Then 2 times 4, that is 8 x to the power 4. So that is how that can be integrated. So it becomes 3 over 8 x to the power 4. Integrating negative 5x, what happens? So we have negative 5. Now remember, what we are doing is that if you see a variable which doesn't have a power, it means the power is 1. So this is negative 5x to the power 1, then we add a 1, then even down we say 1 plus 1. But however, okay, so let me just do that. So I'll say 1 plus 1. Then here I'm going to say plus x to the power negative 2 plus 1 over negative 2 plus 1. Then I'll add the constant c. Now let me just simplify some things before I can write the final answer. So to simplify some stuffs here, I'd love to say, especially I want to simplify the last part here. So the last part is x to the power negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1 over negative 1. So because of this negative, we're going to have a negative x to the power negative 1. And like I said, I don't want to have a negative power, so I'm going to say minus 1 over x, like that. So meaning this is going to be equal to 3 over 8 x to the power 4, then minus 5, then what is 1 plus 1, 2, so I'm going to say 5 over 2 x squared. Then here we said it's negative 1, so negative 1 into positive, so it will be negative, so minus, so we said it to be 1 over x, 1 over x plus c. So that is the final answer, ensuring that the powers are positive. So once that has been dealt with, then we are good to go. Now we can look at some questions that you can try. So I want you to try these questions and see how you can go about them. That will help you.